In this podcast, we are going to talk about improving the way we feel about ourselves within the world around us. We are going to talk about ways and means, ways with which we can change the way we are and hopefully develop our wellness. Now, a lot of people will go through life and they will have no problems, and they will appear to be happy. You'll meet happy people and people that are in good health, that are seemingly living a blessed life, as in have money, family, good health. They look happy and they feel fulfilled. Not all of us are lucky enough to have that, and when we go through life, we can feel unhappy, unwell, and consequently depressed, anxious, despondent, angry, violent, all these things which can lead us to become very ill and can inflame problems. So this is about ways and means to develop ourselves toward a happier, healthier place. When I say ways and means, is that there are ways and tools that allow us to start to work towards this happier outcome. So when we hear of the words such as virtue, a virtue or an ethic, what they mean is they're referring to our personality. We have a personality. We are born with a certain set of traits. Some of us are more scientific, some of us are naturally quieter, some of them are more jubilant, laughing. As a child, you'll see different children, and some of them are happy, and some of them are shy, and some of them are frightened, and some of them feel unloved. So we have a unique personality which makes us who we are, ourselves. Some of those qualities will come from our parents and also from the environment with which we are born. Some people believe that we cannot ever change the way we fundamentally are. This is called the view of, you may have heard the word fatalism. Fate. It's all foretold. It's called determinism. This is a simple word, determinism, which means that things are all predetermined. You cannot choose them. But our argument is that we have a free will. We make choices in our lives, and those choices allow us to develop the ways and means, and to find the way to a happier place that we once were within ourselves, or to escape certain addictions and, for example, maybe not being able to connect spiritually to the world because we're too bound within the phenomenal world with which we live in. The ever-changing world can disrupt, enable us to lose sight of who we really are when we were born and who we're supposed to be. We all have a unique set of qualities. Some of us are braver than others. Some of us are more disposed to be exuberant, and some of us are more disposed to suffer from depression and or feeling a lack of self-worth. We all have certain, if you like, assets in our personality. Every one of you has certain special qualities. we're going to try to work on those special qualities and then be aware of parts of our work that may need work. There's always hope. And before we go into, or in another podcast, into ways to connect to universal energy or God or divine force, we're just going to talk about the basics. So we have a fundamental personality, which you can call your character. My character is spiritual and sometimes over excessive about things. I get impatient. I suffer from impatience, and I also suffer from having a drink. A drink too many. Not to fall on the floor drunk, but I have a drink too many. I used to have, I used to want to sleep with lots of different women because I'm heterosexual. Not good, too much, not too good. I have my own weaknesses, but I also have a lot of strengths. So wherever you are now, try to sit back and say, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? What don't I like about myself? What is causing problems in my life? What are they? Is it an addiction to alcohol? Is it that I have no money? Is it that I'm feeling depressed and tired? All these things can be dealt with. We have the power to change because we have free choice. And with free choice, we can change. Turn black into white, let go of things. So let's go on to these ways and means, these tools, these herramientas in Spanish, instruments. Now they're called virtues. Virtues are qualities that are good qualities, and vices are negative qualities. So for example, stealing is a negative, it's a destructive force, a vice, traditionally they're called. And charity and giving is a virtue. Let's go back now and find out how we can understand these tools to improve our character and change the way we are, by hopefully wanting within ourselves. We all have an innate we know when something's right and when something is wrong. We have to trust ourselves more than other people in most cases. So for 1,000 years, the power in Europe, more in the Mediterranean than say England and Scotland and Germany, was the Greeks. 1,000 years they were in power. Before Christ, before Allah, and before Muhammad. And they worked out, started to develop the idea of virtues. And they called it ethics. And ethic is the Greek word and virtue is the Latin word. They mean the same thing, an ethic. And your ethos is your character. So Plato, who was an ancient Greek philosopher, philo, love, sophos, wisdom, he liked to try to work out solutions. He wrote a book called The Republic, and in the Republic identified 4 virtues. These are courage, the ability to look ahead and foresee our lives or foresee circumstances or to plan ahead, called it providence. Then he had justice. Justice means not think of a law court necessarily, but more give and take, you buying and receiving, giving and taking, a balancing out, call it karma, loosely. Justice, he meant the ability to deal fairly and be honest and sincere and in things. Because we need to have sincerity in order to be, to speak the truth and to find out who we are, where we're going, and how we can overcome certain problems of life. Some of them will take perseverance. It's not going to happen in a second. Normally, some people will have an epiphany moment or receive some experience to change their lives. So he also then had prudence. Prudence by Plato meant being modest, not going overboard, not going for excessive. You like too much alcohol, too much sex, too much of one thing, if you like, eating too much, excessive. That would be not considered to be prudent. So he had 4 cardinal virtues. They're called cardos in Latin, if you like words, means hinge. Hinge on a door, the hinge, cardos. They're hinges. We open and close doors. Plato taught this chap called Aristotle. Always the correct name is Aristoteles, but we call him Aristotle. Now Aristotle came along, and he then these ways and means, these tools, these instruments. Each virtue is a tool, an instrument. So think of courage as an instrument. Look for courage. Try to be courageous. Prudent. Try to sort of like not go overboard with things. Try to be sensible. Try to find that balance. For example, each virtue, think of it as a tool. So Plato came along and he added other virtues such as friendliness, i.e. being kind and good to other people, being friendly. He then added wittiness, humor, being able to, in your suffering or in a difficult situation, to make someone happy, to spread a smile on someone's face. Don't mean being a total idiot and a buffoon. I mean just being a bit of humor. My swinging board. It's windy. Having humor. He also added magnanimity, the ability to not magnanimity. Yeah. That means the ability to not, if someone upsets you, not to go crazy. If someone says something bad to you, try and let it go. If you fall down, don't make a scene, get up and carry on. It's all about having this value of being able to not play a victim. Never be a victim, because it won't work. So Aristotle came along. We're talking about the ancient Greeks still, and he added friendliness, wittiness, humor, having a joke. He added magnanimity, the ability to not get stressed by the so little things, just to take a deep breath and take a sit back. He added magnificence, which meant to do things and be pleasing and do things the best that you can, whatever it is, whether it's cooking, whether it's the way you like to dress, whether it's organizing your record collection, your music collection, whatever it is, whether it's making your bed, whether it's doing a good job at work, whatever it is, just do it as best as you can, and you'll always feel good within yourself. One other thing he added was liberality, and by liberality we mean generosity, being kind and generous, you see. So think of each of these things, as I'll repeat them again, but you have kindness, friendliness as kindness, generosity, doing the best that you can, overriding certain problems and things we have immediately that may occur within us, getting up and doing it again and trying to do a better job. So these are instruments. Now, when Christ came along, Jesus, the Christian added, after the Greeks, it added hope, love, and faith. In Islam, very briefly, we'll talk about the fact that only God is perfect. We must try to accept that we're not perfect, but always try to do the right thing, and that will be being honest to your wife, being honest in buying and selling things, and in his case, in Islam's case, don't wear gold jewelry, don't make images and paintings, images, because that's a reflection of reality. Reality is what it is. Don't try and impersonate reality. They also say no silk clothes. They also say don't want groups of young singing girls, because it might distract men from their virtuous path. Islam has its own set of virtues, things which are there to help a person, supposed to be there to help a person lead a good life, and they don't allow alcohol Islam doesn't allow alcohol, so that means that you're going to get less drunk people or people with alcoholic problems. And then the Dharmic faith, the Indian faiths of Hinduism and Buddhism and Jainism, they have a very, very complex scientific set of virtues. And I have a podcast that deals with the Hindu and Buddhist virtues, these qualities, these tools which allow us to change our personality and who we are from a darker place to a lighter place, which is included in a further podcast in this mini series. So look at yourselves, identify what qualities you actually have and the ones that you don't have, and try to apply these virtues that I've listed now. Do go through it again, listen through this podcast again, and just make a note of the qualities, the virtues that you do have and the ones you don't. Now, very briefly, by vices, what I mean is stealing, hating, sowing misery, intimidation, unforgiveness, lack of courage, being cowardly, not trying, not giving up any hope, not giving away anything. All these things are vices which can close us in. Imagine yourself as your being as a bird in a cage. Now, to escape, to free yourself, to connect to life's bigger picture, imagine if you steal, don't steal. If you have no courage, pull down the bars. If you feel afraid, try to stand up and be courageous. If you are greedy and selfish and you miserly, give. Be generous and kind. Love other people as much as you can. Be fair and honest. Don't overdo things, and all these vices will enclose you in your cage. So every virtue is a bar. We pull down the bars. We pull down the bars. And one day you'll wake up and you'll realize you pulled all these bars down. Depression, anxiety, stress, suicidal thoughts, addictions, problems, the ability to connect to people around you, and suddenly one day you'll wake up and you'll feel happy and you'll feel like you're having a good life. Trust me, I've been there. I've been in dark, dark, dark places. And one day your cage will open and your spirit will fly around and you'll be happy as a self. I have this here. I have this one actually. I'll put this on. This is an image. Imagine this is yourself trapped in the cage. You pull down the bars of virtues. Do good deeds. You know, cheer things up. And more you'll connect to the beauty of the universe and the energy and the happiness, and more you'll become at union with the universe and with God, if you believe in God. More and more you'll be drawn to the good. And one day, you know, instead of trapping yourself, pull down the bars and free yourself from the cage. The cage can be put there by you, how you react to the world around you, or it can be put there by circumstances. Free yourself from the cage by pulling down the vices, pulling down the negativities. And as this stupid teddy bear is an idea, free yourself from the cage. Don't put yourself in a cage. Do what you can to liberate yourself. So, my famous Matty. So what we're talking about here is we're talking about ways to change your personality. Use the virtues, the tools, the things that I've listed out to you. Use those. Focus on the ones that you're not so good at, or realize the ones that you are good at. I personally have a lot of courage. I also have a spirituality. As many of you will know, my father was a Buddhist monk. He was assassinated in Pakistan. My mother died, as you know, tragically, of an overdose of sleeping pills. I have had people in my life that have stepped in for me at various times, but my life has not been all a bed of roses, as we call. But we can change ourselves, we can change your outlook, and like I said, I hope this podcast, you please refer to virtues. And if you've enjoyed it an awful lot, then please now go on and visit the one on the virtues that are found within Hindu and Buddhist and Jain philosophy, because it's very, very much more towards breaking the bonds and the chains from the material world which we live in to connect to the higher level, our supraconscious of God. And then also the podcast on transcending, what Aristotle then went on to talk about, was connecting to divinity, to the divine. So there's one on India and Indian virtues, and there's one on Christian and to a lesser degree, I mean a much lesser degree, Islam, and how we can unify and connect with God to wake up, find salvation, find enlightenment, and find hope. Thank you for listening to this. It's always rewarding to know that someone is listening to this other than myself. Cheers.